So we had our first technical difficulty.
Our live dropped.
Our vast experience of doing lives, I think we've done like 6 or 8. I don't know how many. Anyway, we've never had one drop before. Maybe I bumped it or tapped it or something. Anyway, so we'll just pick up where we left off.
We were talking about Mervyn.
Yes. And so we had the Mervyn pin, but we also had the little plush Mervyn.
He's so cute.
And he's so cute that we had to have one.
We did. I did. I have to have one. I'm going to put him on my shelf by my Doom Slug.
There's a very interesting switch when we go from we to I in these conversations. That's all I need. That's all I need to say. Okay.
Yes,
Should we move on to apparel?
Yes, apparel.
Stickers.
Oh, thank you, assistant.
Taryn's in the background,
assistant.
off-camera assistant. I need to show my stickers. Steve Argyle was selling these because he drew Mervyn, and so I had to show them. Look how cute they are. I'm going to put one on my water bottle from last year. See? What's not to love?
Nope. I don't know. The upside down dragon was that's a feat of physics.
I don't know why he gave me 2 of these. I think that was a mistake.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah.
It's like a baker's dozen of stickers.
Yes.
With half of a dozen. Anyway.
Apparel.
So, I got this hat, which is not my normal style of hat, but I really like the Dragonsteel. Yeah, it's kind of flat brim, it's kind of big, but I did like the Dragonsteel logo on it, so I gave it a shot. It's the adjustable kind, as you can see here. They had some flex fit hats that comfort-wise and style-wise I probably would have preferred. There's a Bridge 4 and a Harmonium hat. And I actually did go stand in line. I decided to double down on the hats, and I was going to go get a Bridge 4 hat.
Because he wanted it last year, but he didn't get it.
That's true. And they were out of stock in my size when I got there. So
maybe Black Friday they'll have some.
Maybe. Or maybe we'll just go back next year.
We'll be there next year.
Wow.
So he got this shirt instead.
Consolation prize. Which,
Miss
this is a
Bourne.
great shirt.
There's always another secret. It's very cool.
Yes.
Yep.
And let's see if there's only a way to model the other shirt we got. We already showed the Dragonsteel shirt.
I won't.
Off-camera
flash you
assistant?
all. Off-camera assistant, come help us.
Yes. So Heather and Taryn got these
shirts.
shirts.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
But it has the different locations in the Cosmere by...
Different, what were they?
Things.
Key items, objects.
Key items. The Mist Cloak, the Soul Stamp.
Oh, we're going
the
to name them
Inquisitor
all.
Skull. No, I'm not going to name them all.
We've already done this. It's a fun little game.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But this
Excellent
shirt's really
shirt.
cool. And then the back of it says World Hopper. It's just a nice little added touch.
Wow, this is the beginning of your modeling career.
This is Taryn, everybody.
Yeah, as if they don't know Taryn by now. So those shirts were awesome.
An added touch that was...
Yeah.
And there was lots of shirt options. Shirt options that they had last year, new ones that they had this year specifically for the Defiant release. I just didn't need.
Yeah, they had an MBOT shirt. They had the Life Before Death shirt that you already have.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a few others. When I do the real video, I did walk through the store and get video of a lot of that stuff. Unfortunately, if you're looking for kind of help or tips to shop for Black Friday, I'm not going to have that out by
No,
Friday.
but they ranged in prices from like $25 to $30. The t-shirts
generally
did.
t-shirts.
Yeah. The sweaters were $60.
And you've probably seen online the Doomslug sweater and the Mistborn metal sweater.
Black and red sweater. Those were $60, and I was surprised how many people bought them. There was so many people with that sweater on, and it was
they
shocking.
sold it. They sold really
very well.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a couple people that said, "Oh, my size was sold out." So there might be size
shortage of those.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, do you want to do those
Yeah.
So then in the exhibitor area, there's options to buy things there. Of course, we didn't get a ton of stuff there, but we did pick up a few things that are up our alley.
Yep.
We have a tradition of giving Christmas ornaments to each other every Christmas Eve, and so every year it's a opportunity to try to find something appropriate for each person. And this year,
it's all the ships from Defiant.
Skyward.
From
from the The Cytoverse.
Cytoverse. There you go. The Cytoverse. So Emily Sanderson, she has the Lightweaver Foundation, and she does an ornament every year. Last year was red with a harmonium symbol on it, and I didn't want that one.
It was a little blah.
It was a little blah. They had a lot of those left over afterwards, but this one I thought was super cool with all the different shapes and the purple tones. So that's why I got this one this year. And they donate a bunch of their proceeds to charity, which is nice.
Yeah, I believe the Lightweaver Foundation donates all of their proceeds to charity.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. And then they had this one with the wood of the covers for the different secret projects, and I thought they were really fun. So, yeah.
I just want to make sure you got a chance. I'm going to do some little panning and some movement here, and I'm going to do this, and then some of this. Anyway, on the back, this says that it is sold and distributed by Dragonsteel, so I assume these would be available online as well.
Yeah, they will. They'll make those available online.
But these are super cool.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Okay.
As we were walking out the very last night, evening, we were handed Mistborn dice for free from a vendor.
That's true. And I just realized I don't know what vendor it was.
Oh, I have no idea either.
Yeah.
It was a little kid. Well, he was probably 10.
10 to 12?
10 to 12. And he's like, do you want some dice? Yes. So we all got our own dice.
Yeah, and he was handing them out. And the number of vendors this year was dramatically increased.
Yep.
Enjoyed, a lot of the booths there. There were some that were a little on the edge of what I would consider kind of a core offering for that audience, but that's okay, right? People trying different products and offerings.
Yep.
So really enjoyed that. They also put, they had 2 experiences in there as well. They had
Hoyd's Museum.
They had a museum of Hoyd. That was super cool.
It was really cool.
I have footage of that. I'm hoping that comes out well because it was dark in there.
Yeah.
The highlight for me was a mock-up of an Inquisitor's skull with the spikes
really cool.
still through the eye holes.
Yep.
That just looked
Real.
perfect. Yeah. I mean, it just
exactly
looked awesome.
Yeah.
Any favorites from Hoyd's Museum that you remember just offhand?
The water that they had going upwards, that was at a half flashing.
Yeah, from Stormlight.
They just. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some water.
They had some
up.
water
Anyway.
that was going upwards at quote a half flashing. It was all just like stuff that he quote had collected from all around the Cosmere, and it was in this museum that he was.
And they did a really good job. You'll see in the other video when we get to that.
Yeah.
You might have already seen other videos of that.
Yeah.
But great display. They also had a virtual reality experience where you were meeting Mbot, and Taryn and I did that. It was pretty cool. It was cool in that it was custom, right? They mocked this up with kind of correct in-world visuals. With virtual reality, it's hard to get too detailed still, and be able to run it at large. So I do think the quality of the graphics, that kind of thing, would improve. But as far as immersiveness and kind of that experience, I thought that was super cool. And if nothing else, I love the idea. Getting virtual reality, getting a different experience in there. The exhibitor floor was not just vendors. There was other things to experience, and then the vendors were awesome.
Well, that's where they had the fighting
on par. Oh yeah, they also had
sword fight. It was foam sword fighting, but they also had like real people dressed up as knights with like real armor, and they were playing with real swords,
metal swords.
Yeah.
I want to say LARPing. I don't know if that's the right term anymore, or if that's like an off term for that now. But anyway, it was a fun exhibition, and then again, guests could get the foam swords and get in the ring and do their thing too. So that was, a lot of people had fun. I also got video of that. So
I'll share all that.
Man, I feel like I'm making all kinds of promises that I intend to keep, but now need to.
I think that's it.
Well, we have 2 more things we have to do.
Oh, you're going to show our doom slides.
I am not the most artsy of people, but...
We are not doing crafts next year.
But they have crafts every year, and last year we signed up for crafts, and we went to a class. It was time boxed, and then we had to leave. And then those that wanted to go back and spend more time at the crafts could. So I got my taste of crafts and failed at some of them and just walked away. And it was okay too. Yeah. This year, it was a much more open format, much more improved. Dragonsteel has adjusted very well. Many more many more
options.
Crafting options. We signed up to make clay plaster. Thank you.
Plaster doom slugs.
All right. Plaster doom slugs.
And they sucked all of our time.
So these are the ones I made. And there was a couple of reasons, but one, it was something I had to paint. And while I am not super creative or a painter, I can be a little meticulous, maybe a perfectionist. And so I'm never happy with the stuff. And they gave us paint that first soaked in and didn't work.
They gave us tempera paint.
And so the next day we went back and they had, again, adjusted on the fly and brought in some acrylic paint.
Yep.
But this is my little doom slug.
But like we had already painted them all, and then all the paint was absorbed into them. And so we had already spent 2 hours there the first day doing that. And then we came back the next day and we ended up spending another 2 or 3 hours repainting and then
we spent a disproportionate amount of
time trying to make these doom slugs. And we missed classes that we wanted to go to because
we had committed to these and we lost track of time or decided to do one more step.
Yes.
They are magnets. You can't see the magnet in that one, but
you can on this one.
Yeah, they are magnets. It'd be a fun rainy day activity with the kids, or if I was doing some kind of like storm or
it's like coming off on
cytonic. I put them in not completely dry.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Anyway, like we said, spend a bunch of time on these. Some are better than others. It was fun. Again, they had probably a dozen or so different craft options, I would guess.
Yep.
Crocheting and building cosplay type stuff and making these little doom slugs. But that turned out to be a material part of our experience that we're not going to repeat next year.
No, we want to go to more classes next year.
Yep. And nothing against their options. It's just an us decision. But
and there's so many options of things that people can do that you can get submersed in.
And I will say,
want to do,
we did pay for the kit, so it came with a little box and it was all packaged and ready to go. You could walk in there and if you knew ahead of time, bring your own materials or whatever, and you could just go in there and do crafts.
Yep.
And there was QR codes on all the tables.
Teaching you how to do all of it.
With all the stuff.
And we made those with the molds from the Cytoverse box. So you got the yellow Cytoverse box, our mold of Doom Slug. That's what we made in those. So
if you got that box, you could do that.
You could also make some Doom Slugs.
I've got paint all over me.
I know. I have paint all over me too.
I did stick them in there not dry, and I thought they'd finish drying, but apparently not so.
No, they didn't. Okay.
So one thing left.
What's that?
The signings.
Oh.
And that's why I'm checking my hands for paint before I touch our books. So there was an opportunity. So signing, right? Book signings, Brandon does great at trying to provide book signing options to his fans, but as his fan base grows, that becomes a limited opportunity.
Yep.
And so this year they did lightning line signings.
Lightning signings. Yeah. And he had about 500 people each lightning line. So he did 2 on Monday and 2 on Tuesday. Plus he had his regular signings that you get drawn for randomly that happens after the release party. And I assume he will do it the same way next year with the Stormlight release. But I got one and he also got a spot.
And we were at 2 different times, so we were randomly drawn for these. So hey, super lucky.
Yeah.
General admission as well as VIPs were in.
It was all equal.
Yeah.
We in our group there was 6 of us that were VIPs, and nobody from the other group, which was 3 as well. They did not get picked for the lightning line.
Yeah. So how it worked? They lined us up, and they basically lined us up against a wall configuration. And Brandon started at one end, and we were all standing there holding our books out, facing where he would show up. And he walked with a marker and just signed each book as he went. The idea was to really push him through. Again, he's a very gracious guy, and just paused and would say a few things. They didn't want us to ask questions. It's only one item. They're very strict on that.
Yeah. No personalization.
No pictures.
No like asking him questions. But he just took a few 20 seconds or so, 30 seconds with each person and looked them in the eyes and was just very kind.
Yeah, it's just authentic and tried to make it a good experience for them. So we appreciate that. And me being why don't you tell your experience and I'll tell my experience. What did you choose to do?
I had the choice. I wanted him to number my book. I wanted him to number Sunlit Man because he hasn't signed any of them. And a bunch of people I know had brought Sunlit Man to be signed, but I was like, it would be super cool to get a numbered one because there isn't numbered ones out there.
And you don't know if he would have numbered
Right.
it,
I don't
by the
know
way.
that he would have numbered if I had asked him to number it. I don't know that he would have. Or ask him for the reality icon. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, which one do I do? Which one do I do? And I decided to ask him for the reality icon. And he reached into his pocket and pulled out the reality icon. So I chose the reality icon.
In a somewhat clandestine manner?
Yes. Oh, yes. He's very sneaky about it.
He slid a hand into a pocket and handed one off as he walked away.
Yep. And then he signed the Sunlit Man.
So we did find out there were other ways to get these later. And so, I don't know. But hey, it's a cool story.
It is.
So
it's a great story.
As we talked about in our last unboxing video of which one I was going to bring, I really wanted to take Tress.
You wanted to take Tress, which I'm really glad we did, actually. I almost wish that we had brought Frugal Wizard because Steve Argyle was there, and I would have had Steve sign Frugal Wizard.
Yep.
Yep.
So one fun thing is at the bottom here, we did have Howard Lyon sign first at his booth. Also, very friendly, gracious guy.
Yes, they're just really down to earth.
Yeah, gave us this as well with some information on it. But then I held this out, and Brandon's signature is there. Of course, me being who I am, did not ask for anything extra.
No.
But I did. You weren't supposed to take pictures, but I turned on my GoPro and held it and carefully held it in a hand as I opened the book with the other hand and have that recorded. I have not yet looked at the footage to see if it came out reasonably
You
at
might
all.
have just gotten Brandon from like here to
Yeah,
here.
it might be a complete mess. However, I hope it's better than that, and I hope to include that in the video that I eventually make. And I think that might make a fun short.
Yeah.
Little fun fact, I've never yet made a short or a reel on any platform. If I'm going to start, maybe that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good.
But that was a fun experience. Again, it was total luck that we both got drawn for those.
Yep.
I'll put this back in here.
We also had just some interesting experiences. I ended up on an exercise machine next to Brandon's agent, literary agent, Joshua, and talked to him for like 30, 40 minutes and had really good conversation with him. And he recognized us. We went and saw him at his booth and he remembered us then. And that was a really fun thing. And then when we were painting our doom slugs for hours on end, we ended up being at the table with Karen Alstrom's mother, who, if you know the Alstroms, Peter and Karen, they are Brandon's right-hand people. Peter is his editor and Karen is his continuity editor.
And really, first and foremost, friends.
Friends, yes.
At least that's the feeling we get.
They were. I mean,
people.
Peter and Brandon were roommates in college, and they have remained friends and, tight since then.
Obviously.
And so we ended up having a really long conversation with her mother, Rebecca, and it was just really pleasant. And we learned about their family, and we met Karen and Peter's daughters, and
it was a mom experience.
It was a total mom experience.
I wasn't there for all of that, but the moms all just had a fun time.
Yep. Me and my friend Liz just sat there and talked to her and learned about their family and about her. And so those were some fun just connections to Brandon, of connections that we got that were just unique because you were there.
Yeah, and it's not Weird Al, one of my favorites, has a song called Lame Claim to Fame. This is not what we're saying. This is not a claim to fame, other than it was an additive experience to kind of meet some people, right? You read a lot of fantasy books. You spend all your time in a fantasy world. This was an opportunity to meet real people connected to that with some shared interests, and that's just a different dimension that makes it fun. And I hope that any of the people we connected with had a good experience connecting with us as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully we didn't detract from their experience and we're good members of the community.
Yep.
So,
I
know there's more stuff that we'll remember, like those books right there. We didn't
talk about.
We didn't talk about those. Grab one. We also got they're good about supporting indie authors or new up and coming authors, we should say. Many of these do have formal publishers. But we got this when we first registered, and it's the first chapter of these four different books.
Yeah.
So you can try these out, and really Brandon is just looking to
support other people.
Yeah, support others and share his fan base with others, because he knows that we are, we're the right market and looking for more.
Yep.
It's not one author to rule them all.
Nope.
So
it's not.
Anyway, great stuff. There will be a video that comes out we'll share more if we think there's anything we're sharing. Obviously, if there is any interest or anything we didn't cover, I'm still making the video, so if you want to drop a question, I can try to answer any of those. If we saw you at Dragonsteel, it was great to see you.
It was great to see you.
We hope to see you next year.
Yes.
And
we have our last and final unboxing of the year. Will be in December.
That's true. That's coming up quick.
So
Anyway, thanks for joining us.
You.
And we had a great time at Dragonsteel. Hope to see you there next year.
Bye.